You know what's happening.
Oh my gosh.
That's funny. And you know I leave that in the video every time?
I know, I saw it.
Yeah, I just leave it. I like it. It's real. It's really happening. I'm being honest about it.
Yeah.
I'd rather not sit below. But one day I'm going to do it just to do it, like embrace it. Like, so let me sit below you. Why not? No big deal. Believe that you can succeed in any endeavor and trust the path will be laid out for you. Any obstacle you encounter on your journey to success can be conquered. What is destined for you will be yours, but the key is perseverance. That's
And that's what you
eerily
did too.
On point, like creepy on point kind of stuff. Like it almost makes me want to pull another card and see if it's going to be relatable too, because that's so relatable. But it's just because of this.
Well, what about this one with Star Divine Guidance? Here, let's look and go deeper. What number is that? 33?
Yeah.
So for that, it says, looking up at the stars at night can be a magical and almost spiritual experience. They are a reminder that we are all here on a rock floating in the middle of a mysterious universe. If you are seeking directions or guidance, you will receive answers and clarity soon. The human experience is linked to the stars. For centuries, navigators have used them to learn where they are on Earth. Astronomers have used them to learn where we are in the universe, and astrologers have used them to help us find our place in both. Right now, you may be unclear on different areas of your life or wondering why certain things are happening. Spirit is asking you to connect by setting intentions, asking for divine guidance, and looking up for answers. Allow the universe to work its magic by asking for the heart and being open to the way the answers come to you. You will be pointed in the right direction. The stars will tell you where you are. Additional meetings is have faith in yourself, clarity on what direction to go next, an epiphany, vivid dreams or dream visitations, spiritual exploration, optimism about the future, stargaze to relax. So this is more too, like this deck is signs and synchronicities, and so it's also kind of like stars are something that you should be paying attention to. Kind of like even when we look at like numbers, like angel numbers, like 1111, which is like new beginnings. So sometimes when people are seeing them often, it's not even just to look up what the angel number it is, but what are you thinking of at that time? Like and it's like our ancestors, you know, the universe will speak to us in different ways. Some people through animals, some people through plants, some people like through numbers. So this is basically telling you to look for guidance through stars. And maybe like at nighttime, just go outside and just stargaze.
Did you see the, this is happening, you know I was going to go. Did you see the eclipse the other day? Did you check it out?
I did. My daughter and I, we got a blanket and sat outside. I brought, you know, some decks of cards and was going through my birth chart, just sitting there and just enjoying the energy. My daughter's 5, so she didn't quite understand how serious Mom was trying to be. Because she wanted to like play baseball and ride her scooter, and so I'm like, you can do those things, but Mom is sitting right here, and I'm,
we're in the moment here. Yeah.
But I didn't really. It was cloudy. It was cold. It was really cold. So also on TikTok, so I didn't really, with my naked eye, I did buy glasses, but we didn't use them. I was like, nah, we don't need that. So then on TikTok also there was someone that was using a telescope and showing it live, so that was really cool.
Oh, nice. That's interesting, the different vantage points that everyone had, because I actually saw it. I was able to see it.
That's awesome.
It wasn't what, where was I at? I was in Hatfield, and just in a specific spot. It was like right above me, and I saw it go in and out. It wasn't what I thought it would. No, I didn't think it was going to be that. The way everyone described it, like they thought it was going to be like midnight when the thing covered, you know, like it was going to go pitch black. It just got kind of dark, and but yeah, it was super bright, and I looked at it because I'm a dummy. Like I just needed to look at it. I had to look at it.
Hey.
But I looked at it through a tinted window, so I thought that was going to help. It didn't. It does not help. That is the brightest shit I've ever seen in my life. But it's a different kind of bright. Like however your eye is structured, this thing burns. Like, it's like a burning kind of bright. You know, it's not like just looking at a light. It's like, tss, like shit. I felt that kind of bright. It was crazy. And then afterwards, I could only see this spot in front of my eyes for like probably like 20 minutes. There was just a spot in front of me. So I'm a dummy. I looked at it, but I had to look at it through a tinted window though. So I was doing something.
You call yourself a dummy. I call yourself very lucky. I look at it as you are so. Sometimes I just will go and stare at the sun, and the sun is giving off energy, right? It helps plants grow. Like they have made it intentionally to make it seem as if staring at the sun is going to be bad for you. It is very good for you. So you just got some. Ooh. I wonder if that's part of your card too, with the uploads that you are going to be receiving through your experience.
Yeah, I looked right at the shit, saw it like at the perfect moment where it eclipsed over it, and then when it came out of it, it was like, holy shit.
All right.
It was pretty cool though.
Yeah, I kind of want to tell you to do you journal?
I have. Am I currently? No, but I have.
I think that,
And
I don't
I like
know,
it.
I think it would be very interesting for you to just journal about your days and maybe signs and synchronicities that you've seen, and then over time just see what has transpired. Because I feel like there's going to be some significant shifts for you.
I appreciate that. I like that. I hope you're right. I think you may be right. You're pretty on point with a lot of the things that you say. Like, you know, if at any point you don't feel like it's like 100% applicable, but you know, within there, like there's something, you know, that I noticed that's like, oh yeah, that's right. Like, yeah. And I tell other people about some of the things that you and we talk about, and like other people get it. Yeah, people get it. It's not one of those things, maybe because we're older and we probably all have like more of an understanding of everything that's going around us. So like, it's not like a turn off to everyone.
I think that also depends on the vibration of the person, right? Because you are no longer, and this isn't a dig for people, because I know that people take it personally, but you are like you have changed the vibration of the people that you spend time with, right? So therefore, those people, it's going to be very easy for them to understand you. The people that, and it's not even to be like not on your level. And this is more of and I don't, like, it just sounds kind of rude to say like on an intellectual or emotional level, but that's what it comes down to. And this is my perspective also.
Yeah, we're all in like different places of the journey.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there are lots of people that are just not going to understand, but you don't hang out with those people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it becomes easier as we become what we're becoming to not hang out with those, you know what I mean? And still like, you know, embrace and love and cool, but, you know, there's separation between how much we share.
Yes. And like that is something that I'm learning about, like unconditional love it is even the I love you from a distance. It is still appreciating those people and loving them and wishing them well, but why would any, like, it just blows, like, and this is me talking to old me of like, why did you want to hang out with those people that didn't make you feel good about yourself?
Yeah.
Like, why were you, like, you know, just giving her a hug and like, I get why you did that, but I'm so glad you were no longer doing that.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like, you don't know if you were seeking validation, maybe you were at some point, or just like
1000%. Oh my
hanging
gosh.
on to certain relationships as you get older. You're just like, look, this is me and I like me. If you don't like me, that's okay. You know, that's fine. But I'm gonna go this way.
But that's past me. Present me and past me, they're two different people. Yeah, she got murdered.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah, that's funny that you describe it that way. I used to think of myself when I came back from my motorcycle accident as like a literal rebirth. Like that person, for sure, died.
Phoenix.
Yeah, for sure died. That person absolutely
Rising from the
not
ashes.
literally, because it's weird to say that because I was like laid out in the street and could have died. So it's like a kind of weird visual, but that person
I mean, that
doesn't
happened to
exist.
Jesus Christ too, right?
I don't know much about the story. I
Okay.
guess so. Yeah, I don't know
But
much.
yeah, well, I only bring that up because Jesus Christ was a even when we talked about like gods and goddesses and deities and all of these things. I was having this conversation with this woman who was streaming, and she was talking about different gods and how, like, if you like hear about the story of Zeus, or half of the gods and were pedophiles and rapists. Like, what? Oh my gosh! When we look into these stories, and I laughed because I was like, well, I mean, that's why they had to come down to Earth and redo it again. Like, this is Earth school, and they're just getting reincarnated. Like, we all think we put this much pressure on ourselves, but even the gods and the goddesses at one point had been really shitty people, or entities, or whatever we want to call them. So this strive for perfection, or this jealousy, it just lowers the vibration. And it just is, when people really embrace themselves and love themselves, that is where the harmony really is. And that is where the joy, that's where we can really cultivate heaven on earth. And it's wild because sometimes when we think about the Bible and how it kind of will glorify heaven, so it's just like you're waiting until till you die to enjoy yourself. Does
Yeah.
that even does that like do you, like I don't like the more that I think about it, it's just like so wild. Where it's just like, wait, I can't have fun until I'm dead. Like that, like, wait, so then what were we doing here? So is this the real purgatory?
Yeah.
Is that what we're
yeah.
doing right now?
This is practice. This is practice time.
But like, I don't know. Like this, I feel like this is actually supposed to be like our playground, and not for toxic things, obviously, but to find joy. Like, even when we're doing this, we're not doing this because this is a job, a joy. Like, we're enjoying ourselves. For me personally, it's working on my like throat chakra, which is like a healing thing for me as well. In my birth chart, I need more air, which is speaking up for myself. And this is something that you enjoy doing. Even all of the learning that I'm watching you do, and hearing about all of the lessons that you've learned, and how you just keep upgrading the technology, and the fact that you taught yourself Final Cut Pro in like such a short amount of time. Like, I went to college for that, sir. Like, to do that. Like, they're like, and you just were like, I'm gonna figure it out, and then you did.
Yeah, I get on YouTube and go hard.
Yeah, and that's the beauty. And so, yes, I love that you bring that up, because all of this technology, like, I'm watching as we are going back to nature. More people are buying lands and having communal farms, and people are learning that we need to really do things for ourselves. We need to stop, and everyone wants to complain about the government, but we did it to ourselves. So, unless you're going to work on yourself, unless you're going to start planting and doing the things that you need to do, stop complaining, because you're just part of the problem. And I mean that in like a loving way. Sorry.
Yeah. I think people know. I think you
Okay.
put out enough message that people, know who you are. You're not out here condemning and,
Yeah.
like all that stuff. Like, I don't get that vibe from you, at least you, because I know when you're talking, like, you're not.
Well, for those who this may be their first time seeing it, how about that?
Yeah, I think people know.
But yeah, I'm seeing that, but we also have all of this technology to our benefit. You are able to learn so much from YouTube. Anyone is like, there's so many. Oh my! So the other day, someone was in a chat was talking about how she really wishes she would have gone to college, blah blah blah, and I'm like, there's a library, there's Barnes and Noble, there's the internet. Like, what are you talking about? Like, hey, I went to college, I graduated. I'm so happy I had that experience, but I also am learning, like, I am getting different degrees without having to pay tuition.
Yeah.
I go to, Barnes & Noble. I pay tuition to Barnes & Noble. It's, you are as limited as you tell yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I start to realize that, like, there's Emotions are very powerful. Like, there's nothing more powerful than belief. Like, if you believe, you can be. Like, you are what you believe, and you are the world as you perceive it, whether it be negatively or positively. Like, that is the world. Like, that is your reality. It may not be the reality, but it's your reality. And then as far as information goes, that seems to be the gap between everything. Like, information, even like on an emotional level, it was just the information that I didn't have that was hindering me. And as far as making this develop, it's just the information that I don't have. And as I learn the information, you develop more in every aspect of your life.
And that's another thing too, is even when we are doing shadow work or thinking about the past or childhood trauma and this, that, and the third. So when we think about generations and generations, if you were alive right now, there's no, I call me harsh, but there's no excuse. I don't care if you were 80 something years old. Like, I mean, unless you have like dementia or something, like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we get it.
But but if you can still listen to an audiobook or read with your eyes, like, there is no excuse.
Yeah.
There just really is no excuse. It is just you don't want to do the work. And I get it. Learning how to, I think I've always been very emotionally aware, but now being able to articulate and being able to process on a, like, it's just so freeing because it is, you don't have to allow someone to project onto you. Like, when you understand your own emotions, you can be like, all right, I get it. I see what, like, and it's just like the forgiveness is so much easier too.
Yeah.
Because you can see, like, you know what? I'm not gonna fight with you. I'm gonna, wish you well. I know it's mine, and I hope you like. I don't even need to say these things, but like, this is what's going on in my head. I guess
and
more.
that's yours. You hold that. I'm not holding that. Yeah.
And then it's just like, it's easy to walk away, and it is easy to not let that just fester. Because like, when you're able to process it real quick, you're like, all right, cool, and then you go back to doing the things that you enjoy doing.
What you're describing right there goes along with the topic. So let me introduce this real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back to the Awakened Avoidant with myself and Miss Crystal Renee, your favorite Crystal. Here we are today with another deposit on the journey towards generational health. And the topic is, was it true freedom? I wanted to stop you right there because you said something that was with the topic, what you're describing.
Okay.
It's true freedom. It's true freedom and something else. I'm sorry.
True freedom and lasting happiness.
Yeah, true freedom and lasting happiness. What you were just describing, the ability to keep what's yours and don't allow to be, that's true freedom.
Yeah, actually, it's what we've been talking about the whole time.
Yeah, that's true freedom.
And the archetype is the mystic, which I love that. The root programming is all is love, all is divine, all is perfect. Primary emotion is transcendence and bliss. And that's the thing is like, as you're, now that you don't have to hold on to other people's stuff, you get to go back to your own bliss. You don't have to sit in the muck of someone else that wants to, like, it's wild because when you think about it, the reality of it is people are scared. People are scared of the unknown. And even when we go back to slavery, when the slaves were free, there were slaves that did not want to be free because the unknown is so scary. They're like, I already have my routine. I already know, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is comfortable. This is our norm. And there were people that did not want to leave slavery because they didn't want, they're like,
Yeah, I'm alive here.
Yeah, the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen. But the universe rewards bravery. The universe rewards action steps, and the reality is you are rewarding yourself when you do action steps. When you and I'm really talking to myself and future self at the same time because I know there are a lot more action steps that I need to take. So I'm actually scolding myself and lecturing myself at the same time.
But you're grinding though because you're getting good at this shit. Like, think about how the short amount of time, like, I don't know if you've always been speaking or I don't really know what you were doing before this as far as creating content. I mean,
No, hibernating and learning and reading. That's what I've been doing.
But you got so good at this, like just talking in front of the camera and, you know, working with your hands and delivering the message and just being your authentic self and projecting your voice. And considering that you have no training in this shit and you've been doing it for this amount of time, I'm veering off track just to big you up real quick. But imagine a year from now or 2 years from now. Like, come on, you'd be like a whole personality. There's nothing that can stop you. You know what I mean?
I love that.
And people love it. Like every time, I've never heard anyone say anything that they didn't like about what you were saying, and what you're saying. It may not be relatable to everyone, but when they hear it, it's resonating. You know, they're embracing it. And I would tell you if anyone said anything, you know, I mean, I would just hey, you know, I haven't heard anything negative.
Awesome.
There's more positive shit said about you than said about me, actually. So.
Well, I appreciate you.
You know,
thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. But I've been reading this book lately by Gabor Mate. I think he's from Canada, possibly. I may be off, but it's called The Myth of Normal. So basically what it says, because you were talking about, what were you talking about? Childhood trauma. So basically his idea is that we all have trauma, basically. Like every single one of us has trauma. And to not have trauma, you would be an outlier. And that trauma can be what you did experience or what you didn't experience. And that we pretty much, everyone out here has trauma in some way, shape, or form. So like everyone that you're encountering and, you know, the actions that you're saying, someone projecting on you, that's just a traumatized person that hasn't worked on their stuff. So you have to build this wall around you and get to know yourself, because you're going to be absorbing everyone else's trauma because everyone else has it.
And it's wild because it's a blessing, and I don't want to call it a curse, but sometimes it is exhausting when being able to process things so quickly, especially emotions. Then it's like I can even see, like sometimes I'm processing other people's trauma, like, and I like while I'm having a conversation with them, or like while I'm seeing things or noticing things. And even like, so I bartend, and this past weekend, one of our managers would jump behind the bar because we've just been so busy, which I'm thankful for. It is great, and seeing it being busy so consistently, whatever. Anyway, so we pre-batch our cocktails because we put all sorts of like beautiful things in there. But anyway, and it's in a thing that has a pour top and a bottom. You screw it on. And he was going to switch something out for us, and it spilled everywhere. Let me just tell you, first thing he wants to do is go and ask everyone who filled this up, blah, blah, blah. Like, mind you, as I said, we've been consistently super busy. And it's one of those things when you see that someone really can't take accountability at all costs, like literally at all costs. And there was another manager who was going up to a table to like help them or see how things were going, and we're in the weeds, everyone's super busy, and he's trying to like ask her. She may have like was the one.
Oh,
who,
really?
Like, yeah, and it was just like, this is how deep that goes of like, I need to not be wrong. And the next day, I'm asking him, I was like, hey, so when you were shaking that, were you, like, you shouldn't hold it from the top, like, no matter what, you know that, right? And he was like, no, I was holding it from the top and the bottom. And I was like, so if you were holding it from the top and the bottom, did someone throw a baseball at you? And then, like, you know, like, is that, how, like, and it's just, like, seeing how that I realized, like, wow, like this is really that deep for him. Do you know, like that absolutely. Even something as minuscule as that is such a like an explosion in his mind. And we've had many conversations, and he had like brought up his mom at one point, and this isn't even like I'm gonna get to the point without going into like extreme details. Mm-hmm. But this is, I guess, keeping it basic is we've had conversations, and he had said that he was praising himself because he had got his mom and his brother to connect a bit more, and he's explaining to me about how, you know, his brother has never been able to get over his childhood trauma, and This is a conversation that we'd had previously. So this past weekend, I was like, hey, remember when you were like, talking to me about your like brother? I was like, did you guys like grow up together? And he's like, yeah, he just couldn't get over his childhood trauma. And then like, it was kind of like a zombie apocalypse, and people like the bar just got filled, so we couldn't continue that conversation. But it was so clear, like, oh wow, it's not even just the trauma, but he literally has no self-awareness, where he can see his brother has had childhood trauma, but he has none. He's worked through it, but yet this man, like anything that happens, he needs to figure out a way that it's somebody else who did it and not himself. And then, you know what? Because because there were just so many things that, like, every time he speaks, there are things that, and when I say I see, I feel like through my like pineal gland. It's like a.
But what you're describing, though, accountability and awareness, those are the number one barriers for people from preventing them from healing. Like accountability is the biggest one. Like if there was an action plan where it would start, you would have to put those two like at the top. And without it, there's nothing. You can't do anything, especially without awareness and specifically accountability, because you had to just like accept your role in it somewhere, even if, the trauma was projected on you, carrying it into your life forever. There's got to be some accountability for that. Like me with the dad thing, like I didn't have to carry the shit, till I was near 40, but I did.
And there are people that carry it till the day they die.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
good for you, because generations before you, they wouldn't have been that way if they were able to take care of it at some point. So it took you. There are people like the older generations, they took it to the grave, right? To them, you learned early.
Yeah.
Because they took it to the grave. And now, because you've learned early, your son has none of that.
Yeah.
Like it's like, look how, like, wow. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
look how much you did, because now he gets none of that.
Yeah. He'll probably get some of it though, because because I know, like,
well,
I'm aware.
Nobody's perfect,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Nobody's perfect.
yeah.
Yeah, 1,000%. And the thing is, I think, you know what? I'm glad you said that, because the reality of it is, as you were saying before about how everyone has trauma, the thing is, even the families that have these beautiful families that they know that they had the most like loving parent, but sometimes that parent had to go to work all the time, and they never got to spend time with that parent.
Yeah.
That parent they were trying to provide,
Yeah.
but that still was traumatic for the child, because they still wanted to spend time with their parent.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's not to play the blame game, but you still have to work through that so that you don't project that, or, have this neediness or whatever. And I think people just will feel guilty instead of working through it. There's this guilt, or I feel guilty for having this trauma, because then it sends off this signal that my parent wasn't a good parent, and that's not true. That's not what that means. But it still has an effect on you. That's what that means.
Yeah. You're making a lot of good points that connect with the book, though, and being that you didn't read it, it's pretty amazing. Because obviously you're doing the work on yourself.
Yeah.
Like this person must have did studies, over a period of time before they presented this information. But like you said, not to play the blame game. And the barrier is a lot of times information. Like, it's not just awareness, because you can't just wake up and be like, bring. It doesn't just go off. You have to stumble upon or go seeking the information that can allow you to break down some of these things, like as I've done. Because you have to wake up, you don't have to, but you have to say, like, why am I this way? Why are things going this way? Why is my life moving this way, although I want it to go that way? And then you have to figure that shit out. And like our parents or the generation before us, they didn't have the information, They were just trying to survive. And people that are trying to survive, they can't give everything that a child needs. It's impossible. Humanly impossible, physically impossible for them to do it, because they're trying to survive. They're just trying to live through what's happening to them. So basically, they do the best with the tools they have available to them.
Yes.
And that's why we can't blame our parents.
1,000%. And now, what we are finally learning, I think what our generations are learning, is survival mode is no longer, we have the opportunity to thrive. And if we are not thriving, that is our own, that is our own cross to bear if we are not thriving.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry. For some reason, I just had in my mind that my mic wasn't recording. It just freaked me out for a second.
Well, I'm glad you checked instead of like, you know. But yeah, so it's just like, and that doesn't mean, the thing is, we being in the present, right? Even the things that we just talked about, this, like right now, we just were in that was just in the past 2 seconds ago. So even understanding that when I say that if we are not thriving, even in this present moment, gratitude is something that is going to, gratitude, the where we are right now is due to our past mindset, right? And where we are in the future is what we're speaking into existence right now. So when we speak presently about gratitude, we are setting up the foundation for abundance for our future.
I like that. Bars. I like that. You came in here dropping gems today. Did you study? Did you study first today, or what? What happened?
No,
you just got shit on your mind.
No, yeah.
I like that.
That's like I've been in hibernation, like so. Like it's like when people don't see me, I'm doing crystal stuff. And the thing is, I can have several books on the same topic, and I will learn different gems from all of these books on the same topic. But then I also will be in the TikTok streets of hearing different people talk on different topics. And what I realize is like they're just puzzle pieces all over. So I'm just going around scooping up puzzle pieces and putting, you know, the puzzle together. And I'm just like, wow, oh my gosh, it's like the more pieces I put together, it is just like this beautiful, like, I don't even know because there's so many missing pieces still, but it's still, every time I put a piece in, I'm just like, this gets more extravagant.
You know what I noticed about TikTok and social media in general, though? I thought originally that the person that was the most popular or had the most likes, views, or whatever was the most knowledgeable on the topic, but that's not it at all. Like, it's just one big game. So you can have a very popular voice out there that's saying the wrong shit. Like, I see that sometimes. I look at, there's a lot of, like, millions of followers, and then I'll listen to their messages, like, that's not it. That's not right. Like, what they're saying is not right. That sounds like a person that still is in the process of doing work, maybe, but not quite there. I'm sure some of my messages might sound like that, too, because that is literally what I'm doing. You know what I mean? But, yeah, some of them they just missed the mark. Or maybe they missed the mark for me, but they are being projected out into the world on a large scale. So I guess my point is you still have to sift and filter through this shit and make sure that this is really an applicable, workable, message that you can thrive using.
Well, I think the last video that you posted,
I wouldn't even know the last video I posted.
Because I was like, I don't even know how to say what order it is because like I don't know what. Anyway, but one of the things that I remember saying was that about critical thinking.
Oh yeah,
and like what you were saying about sifting through, and like it goes back to discernment and critical thinking. We can't even. If you believe 100% of what you say to yourself, that is not critical thinking.
Yeah.
So it's just like, even so, like was listening to this person who called himself like a life coach or whatever it was. He's considering himself a guru of things, and
be wary of those. Be wary of those.
Well, the wild thing is,
anyone that calls himself a guru, weary. I'm weary.
I mean, yeah.
Go ahead.
But I'm listening and I'm vibing with what he's saying, and then I hear a baby cry in the background.
Oh yeah, but
right?
Yeah, I think you told this before.
Oh
but
my gosh, it just blew my mind. And then he takes the baby and is telling the baby to shut up, and I'm like, who says shut up? Like, who tells a crying baby to shut up? Like, this is a baby. Like, something's wrong. I'm hungry. I pooped myself. Like, like I'm cranky.
Yeah.
I want your attention. Whatever it is, this is a baby that you, and I'm like, this is who is getting, and I was like, and the wild thing is, right before that, I remember he was talking about something on the lines of having discernment of like all of these people having all of these views, like you were saying, but being a sham. And I was like, how ironic is that what you were talking about is then what you just presented and gave us a clear example of how you were also mirroring what you were saying.
Yeah.
You know?
Charlatans for sure. There's a lot of that, like social media. I mean, as is the world, because it's a representation of that, is being blasted out there, blasted.
But I think the change is that is no longer going to be rewarded. The algorithm is changing. The algorithm of those people being rewarded for their toxicity in some way, shape, or form, people are now tuning in, being more understanding discernment, understanding boundaries, understanding themselves of what vibes with them. And I think that intuition is on the rise, all of these things, and being able to figure out process things throughout your body to see what magnetizes you. It's changing.
Yeah,
And
I think.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go.
I think you're right about that though, because a lot of the toxic male messaging that you were hearing, sometimes it'll get out there real quick, it'll take off, and then it does get muted. I don't know by what mechanism that happens, but it does get silenced fairly quickly. Well, no, not quick enough, but it does get silenced. So yeah, it's not just all of that being rewarded, because you would see more of it, and there would be a lot of people that would follow suit and do that. So yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to be careful. You definitely got to be careful. It's a minefield out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a minefield.
Yeah, but the more that you understand and love yourself, the easier it gets. So it's just like kind of like picking up like daisies. Like you're just walking through and you're like, oh, I see that. And then you just pick up the daisy and keep it moving. And yeah, it's just what used to look like it was disguised, now you can see the craters. Like it's just kind of getting to have these magnifying lens through whichever way works for you, because we all learn differently in some way. And even when you learn not just astrology, but like human design, and for each person with human design, you can learn or get a better understanding of the way that how you personally, your genetic code of how you were supposed to be able to process things. So it's just learning about yourself and understanding yourself in like different ways just gives you so much more of an advantage. And it doesn't mean it's like you get to understand your fingerprint. It's like when you get blood work, right? You know your blood type and this, that, and the third. And that's what you're doing when you are learning more about yourself, is you are figuring out through blood work, you figure out what kind of foods you're supposed to be eating, this, that, and the third. And this gives you the opportunity to do that without drawing blood.
Yeah. It takes time and work, like as we always say, doing the work, because like for whatever reason, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but our society seems to be structured in a way that it wants to create one type of person, like even with the way school is set up. Like, I don't want to say I'm against school, but it's just one way, it's just a linear kind of teaching, and there's so many variations, like you said, in how people learn. Like school, for me, it wasn't the thing, and I used to think that I wasn't very smart because of it, but that just wasn't true.
But the reality was the people weren't that smart because they didn't understand. So they just deemed it as telling people that they weren't that smart because it was something that they couldn't comprehend or understand. Yeah. So that is the real, like, it's so wild, because especially like sometimes where I will talk to people, and I think that's like one of my gifts that I've realized is seeing the depths. One of my girlfriends was making fun of me the other day about how I could see the beauty in a serial killer, and I was like, you know what? Like, I get it. It was annoying growing up, like, and being like, but I could see so much beauty in this person, and like would allow toxic things, and that's, as an adult, it was me allowing it. I had, like, when I'm a child, that's different, but as an adult, it is me allowing it. But seeing that beauty in someone, and even so part of me is like, damn, like I wish I was around when like Hitler was here, because I would have encouraged him to keep doing his art. Like that was one of his biggest wounds, was people criticizing his art in a negative way. And the reality of it is actually this past weekend on Saturday, there's a new girl that was training, and she was talking about,
He would have threw your ass in the gas chamber. He would have threw you right in. Get your ass in that chamber.
Well, I mean, I was not blonde hair blue eyes, but if we dive deep into that whole thing is wild, because it wasn't what people think it was really based on wasn't really what it was based on. But
I don't know much about it, but I know that, as you said before, he did have the mom wound.
Yeah, right? He had the mom wound. Yeah, but the thing is, that is, so not being able to work through these things also. So this young lady that I'm talking to, I'm just, you know me, I'm asking all of these random weird questions, diving deep into conversation with her, and she's talking about her art, and I'm just asking her, like, oh, like, what do you do with it, and blah, blah, nothing. I just, like, do it for healing purposes. And I was like, oh, how do you feel about children? She's like, I love them. And I was like, oh, well, that sounds like you'd be someone really great to help children with art, because the reason why kids turn out, like, if you were an art teacher for Hitler, you could be able to teach him that his art doesn't have to be for anyone else but him. It doesn't have to be, like, a lot of people, when they grow up, and this is pretty much for the people that are emotionally stunted, will say that they are not creative or they don't have any artistic abilities. But the reality is, you are in this perfectionism that is limiting you, because you're trying to compare yourself to someone who does this all day, every day. If someone is like, oh my gosh, like I'm such a shitty piano player, and then they listen to Stevie Wonder all the time, and he's, like, well, he does this, like, this is literally what he does for a living, so, like, he should be good, right? Yeah. But if you're just doing this because it's something that makes you happy, but you're not doing it all day, every day, then how can you expect for it to be this, getting Grammys? Like, that just, but people get in their head, instead of just enjoying these passions and doing it for you. Because if you are saying that your artwork is not good, or your music playing is not good, what you're saying is, I'm comparing myself, and when I compare myself, I'm disappointed, and you're taking all of the joy out of it.
I think you're making a good point, because it's seeking validation, and a lot of times traumatized people will do that because of what they didn't get, so they will seek validation in every aspect of their life, and instead of, like you said, creating for them, they're looking for that validation. And limiting beliefs, that's one of the core things in people that are traumatized, for sure. Feeling like they're just not enough or not good enough. And that is why they say that narcissists are the most successful, usually, because they don't have those limiting beliefs. Whatever it is that drives the narcissist is different than people that aren't.
That's also going left. That is no longer being that's no longer being validated. People are learning about narcissism, so it is, those people are getting, the reality is those people are getting dropped like flies.
Oh yeah, but I don't mean like a good way, but not like society rewards, but say like
but society did for the longest time.
Yeah.
Like, yes, society
but still
very much did reward.
It still kind of does, because
but it's changing.
Yeah, I'll describe it. I don't know if it's changing in this way though. Like, say in a corporate setting, the kind of person that you need to be to climb to the top is a real cutthroat, stepping on necks to climb. Maybe not in every aspect, but usually the person that gets to the top is viewed as this strong person that's kind of rigid, and you know how they're structured. It's not going to be the person that's looking to lift everyone up and bring everyone in. It's going to be this real self-serving, self-centered me person, and they climb because they don't care about anyone else. It's just about them.
Yes. I mean, I also, I guess, like, foresee there not being this whole corporation. I think that is going to, that's going to be something of the past. I think that more people we're just going to be seeing entrepreneurs left and right, and people understanding that they can do whatever it is that they're passionate about, because they do it differently than somebody else. Like if you go down the how many different brands there are of cereal, toothpaste, blah blah blah,
T-shirts.
like T-shirts,
Yeah.
this, that, and the third. It is the thing is what people aren't understanding. It's not even what like. It's the energy that goes into it, and now I think even with social media, people are appreciating the energy of who it is that they are buying from.
Yeah, feel connection to.
Yeah, there's just so many levels on that, and they're seeing the benefits and being able to talk directly to whoever it is that you're buying from, and this, that, and the third. People are getting frustrated finally with the corporations and TikTok. They had done they did some kind of thing with like Kellogg's or something, some brand, and one lady was walking in the supermarket, and there's a sign in the supermarket for whatever brand it was, and I don't quote me on exactly which one it is to research, but it was just like she then sees a sign that says like buy two get three free or something like it is effective. We are seeing the decline. It is just it's kind of like you were talking about the algorithm. We are seeing it happen in very slow waves, and then it's just gonna snowball.
Yeah. I personally think that everyone has a gift. Like every single person, if you
1,000%.
can reach into yourself and find out like who you are and really connect to that and find out a way to market whatever skill or talent that you have, like, and you see a lot of people are doing that and it's working. Like it's working.
Yeah,
And
1,000%.
whatever you are, if you can find a way to be authentically that and figure out a way to package that up and reach people, that's the game, right?
Yeah. The on I think it was on Thursday. I don't even know why it was that I said this to my daughter at this time, and she's 5. I looked at her and I said, I don't even know where we were, what we were doing. I know we were home, and it's just like more of like remembering her facial expression after I said this. And I was like, Mommy and Daddy are here to guide you, but you are in control of yourself. And the facial expression, and I could just see like a lightning bulb and a bomb just went off in her mind, but I also saw like this trickster like bomb go off in her mind. But it was just like ultimately her understanding that like I have power over myself, like was just like mind blowing for her. And I was just like, maybe this was too much for a 5-year-old at this point in time. But I guess like I also live.
You're planting seeds.
Yeah, planting seeds, and also, I don't know. It's also understanding that I don't know. It's maybe not having this fear of death, and also wanting to make sure that no matter what, she has guidance. So I will tell. I told her something the other day, and it was kind of, I don't know why, but I had this vision of her being camping when she was like a teenager, and like being out with friends, like camping, and like, I guess it was like in a dream or something, and her not knowing what to do. And so when I woke up and her and I are talking, like we just randomly have these conversations, and I was like, hey, just so you know, if God forbid Mommy and Daddy are not around, and if it's daytime, you look up at the sun, and that is dad, like that is your father. So if you need guidance with the stars, that's okay. Anyway, and if at nighttime you are upset and you need guidance, that is Mommy. And she said that to my ex-husband, and he goes, and so she spends the day with me and usually the night with him, like during the week, pretty much. It's different on the weekends, but anyway, he goes, do you think we should switch our like work schedules so that like I'm with her during the day? But I was like let's not make blah blah blah. But it's just like realizing the impact that that we can start making on our children now. We don't have to. I'm not gonna wait until she's 18 to start explaining life to her. And even the other day, someone was talking about how their child was having nightmares, and it was like a show that we were watching, and she looked at me and laughed and goes, I guess he doesn't have any crystals. Like that guy was like, she was like clearly like in this like context of like, what an idiot, like he just needed a crystal, but like
Yeah.
that is her mindset of like this, that is a norm that is being created for her, being able to like figure things out like through herself. Like she will be able to stargaze, to look at the moon, to get the answers from the universe without having to seek. My ultimate thing is for her not having to seek outside validation.
Yeah.
To be able to search within for the answers.
Yeah, I love it. Sounds like you're doing that. I gotta rewind now.
Okay.
Usually I'll go back like a week later and later, but I feel like I used the wrong word for narcissist. You gotta fix that. Success. I wouldn't call what they're doing success. I think that you can be successful in whatever you find fulfillment in. You know, like success is a measure, how you measure it. You know, so I don't mean successful or not successful in that way. You know what I mean? They're just climbing through the structure as, you know, society has made it. You know, that personality allows people to climb through it.
What if you're still right in both ways? What if it's success in the terms of someone that's high in the narcissism scale that's looking for outside validation?
Yeah.
That is what success is for them. That is what also is very unfulfilling.
Yeah.
You know? And even so, even in the spiritual community, sometimes even with discernment, when I hear about that, when someone was preaching the other day about how every single millionaire and billionaire, none of them are happy. And I had to immediately, I was like, unsubscribe. And it wasn't like I'm still gonna listen to what this person has to say, but I'm no longer to subscribe to that. If you are a millionaire or a billionaire, that you have to be this unhappy person. You can still do that. And like for me, me personally, I'm like, yeah, billionaire sounds great. And for me, it's like I want to buy land all over and have these community farms, these community villages. Like I want to be able to buy this with no problem. And it's not in this greedy way, it is a communal way. And therefore I find there being nothing wrong with being a billionaire in that sense. And I know that is going to be very fulfilling. Not having, I want to go on vacation. You know what? Let's go have a cacao ceremony. Let's get on the plane. Like that is,
in the jungle of Peru.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you'd like to be a billionaire?
1,000%. No.
Do you have aspirations?
Yeah,
to
this
be?
is the adventure to it.
Yeah?
Like, I'm doing.
So I'm like on the road with you right now to becoming a billionaire.
Exactly.
So I better hang on to your. I better hang on to you for dear life. You ever go?
Yeah. No. Rising tides raise all ships.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have that desire. You know, it's cool. You know, for if you do have it, I don't. My only desire really is just to create enough that my son's good. Really, like I'm not one of those people like legacy. You know, you hear a lot of this messaging about legacy. I personally don't care about what happens after I'm gone. You know, like I don't have legacy. I'm really just caring about now. That contradicts what I said before because I said I'm trying to create something for my son, and that's after I'm gone. But you know what I mean? Like I don't care about this. Like if people talk about me 100 years from now, I don't give a shit. I could care less. Besides for my son, as long as he's good and my people are good, cool. If no one else ever mentions my name after I'm dead, care less.
Yeah.
That's no legacy.
I respect that 1,000%. But your son's people are your people, so it's like his children; those are your great grandchildren, and blah blah blah, and so on and so on. So it's just like I think I'm more looking at it as we're like creating generational wealth is sharing knowledge in my personal perspective. Because we are no longer, like, I think that the old school way of thinking about creating legacy is just, I'm going to hoard all of this money and hope that it lasts generations and generations, and then those people end up broke because they didn't have any knowledge. They just knew how to spend, how to be a consumer. But then, if we are teaching our children how to fish in the biblical sense, how to fish, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then we are creating generational legacy that way because we are sharing that knowledge. And that is like, ultimately, that's generational wealth that we are creating through that.
Yeah, that part I like, the information and all that. Yeah, if I could do all that, yeah, I'm interested in that. But the leaving like piles of money behind, I don't have that. Just only because I feel like if you do that, it incentivizes people to not work. Like I think you might be enabling them a bit because they don't have to work. Like, you know what I mean? And you're creating a different kind of person if they don't have to work. Like we all have to work. That's just the end of it. Even in this, doing what we love, it's still, you know, we don't view it as a job, but we're doing work, like we're here using our resource, our body to do something.
But, okay, in addition, you keep upgrading equipment. You're not getting it for free.
No, not at
all. You spend money for that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just like, even that, when we're making it easier for, it is the ultimate focus is when we are giving them that knowledge and that power to understand themselves, and giving them the tools, then it is giving them that ease to use resources to use towards their goals. Like, even I'm into crystals and all of those things. Like, I'm creating these things, but it still costs me money to buy beads and blah, blah, blah. Like, I can't just go to the forest and forage beads. Like, unfortunately, So,
I can't imagine
but
what
it's a resource. Money is just a resource, and what we need to be more comfortable with it just being. We are not. If we're like, when I think of money, I think of it when I buy beads or crystals or books and blah blah. They are all investment. They are all just tools to help on that road to knowledge. Even when I do readings for myself, those are just more puzzle pieces to the puzzle, or the crystals are for grounding and all of these things. So it's like, it is an investment in self. But that is, and we're also circulating money. Therefore, we are giving, we are helping other people. And hopefully when we circulate money, we are also rewarding those people that are investing in themselves instead of a corporation that could give two shits, that there probably is some negative energy, some, blood diamonds and blah, blah, blah. The energy in those shits, when you really think about it, it's like, oh my gosh, now I even get what, so I went to the crystal that I just gave to you earlier. The woman was telling me about how, oh my gosh, because I just got it today, and because I bought a bunch of them, because it is just like, I love that crystal. It's like, anyway, it's a chevron amethyst. It is, it transmutes energy, and I think it is very helpful. But she was saying that the reason, one of the things that she likes,
I'm glad you just shared that. Like, you let people know what the rock is. You just let them in on what me and you both know. Good job.
Yeah.
Good
and
job.
The beauty, she said, she was telling me about how she gets it from the people that actually are, I guess, I don't want to say the improper name, but I guess like digging them up. Like, it's not going through all of these other things. And that's the thing, is like, when you think about even where we're getting our things from, there's slave trades and all of these things, or children that are working, and, or people in jail producing these things. And we are still, when we are buying in that way, we are still part of the problem.
Yeah, we're part of the system. Yeah, for sure.
Because we're encouraging that. We are allowing it because we get it at a cheaper price or whatever with the convenience. But when we get in the mindset that we are just circulating money and we're using it as a resource, you no longer want to hoard it. You want to just make more by doing, and that's the thing, is having a diverse portfolio of all of these. Like, I don't just have one interest. I want to, I want to have all of these different programs. I want to buy buildings. I want to buy land and all of these things. So it's just like, when you think that like all of these things are possible, being a billionaire is going to be so easy once all of the action steps are taken, and the teammates and the blah, 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 and all of that.
Belief. Belief.
Yeah.
You got to believe.
Yeah.
Without belief, you can't achieve. I like it.
Yeah.
Wrap it up.
True freedom and lasting happiness.
That's it. You close it out this time. I set you up. Nice.
That's funny.
We'd like to thank you for tuning in to The Awakened Avoidant. We hope our convo has provided you with insight, inspiration, and healing energy. As you go about your week, let's continue to work together to heal ourselves and our community. Stay safe and continue to spread healing vibes wherever you go. Catch a new episode Wednesday weekly on all platforms.
Strawberry vinaigrette in my fridge. Made it from scratch, that's just what my life is.